Hi, I'm Joanne from the Full Spectrum Centre Limited, an award-winning wellness and vocational training centre, and you're listening to the Full Spectrum Wellness Podcast. This show is all about physical, mental, emotional and spiritual wellness, and it's for people who are looking to improve their overall health and well-being. Each week, I'll share with you all the positive takeaways, tools, techniques and tips that I've gathered in both my personal and professional wellness journey that will help you to look, feel and be well. With a dose of motivation and meditation to keep you going, I'll be joined by a few friends who will be sharing their insights along the way too. Welcome to episode 5 of our Full Spectrum Wellness Podcast. I'm so happy to be back here with you for our 5th episode. Today's episode is all about the essence of self-care. Now you might be asking, what's the big deal with self-care anyway, Joanne? Well, self-care is a really popular phrase that's emerging in the fields of not just mental health. However, self-care is more than just a fun way to treat yourself to something nice. It's a method for allowing yourself to recharge and to physically, mentally, emotionally and spiritually function at your best. Without self-care, you experience your life and the world head-on with absolutely no recovery time. Engaging in self-care activities gives you a chance to temporarily step away from your stresses, problems and responsibilities, so that you can focus specifically on repairing yourself after a long day. While self-care does mean to literally take care of yourself, it follows some specific requirements to ensure that you get the most out of your self-care experience. The first requirement is that your self-care rituals should be genuinely relaxing and enjoyable for you. The second requirement is that you should finish your self-care routine feeling a little better than before you started. Requirement number 3 is that you feel ready to tackle your problems, responsibilities and tasks again afterwards. Requirement number 4 is that you express gratitude for what you have in life. And requirement number 5 is that you engage in activities that help you to feel refreshed and refocused. Unfortunately, some people believe the misconception that choosing to engage in self-care rituals and practices regularly is a selfish act. Truthfully, self-care is extremely far removed from selfish behaviour. It's not selfish to practice self-care, it's self-compassionate. Now think about what happens when you go on holiday and you travel on a plane and they do the in-flight safety instructions. And when they talk about the oxygen mask falling from the ceiling, they always tell you to put your own mask on before you attempt to help anybody else. And they tell you that for a very good reason. If you're not able to breathe, you're not able to help yourself or anybody else. And it's the same with self-care. Now, when I ask my clients to name the 5 most important things, people in their life, the answers are usually husband, wife, partner, children, the dog, the cat, the house, the job. And they rarely put themselves top of their priority list. And more times than not, they don't even feature on their list of priorities. If you're not at the top of your priority list, how can you look after all those other things and people? When a person engages in self-care practices, they're trying to accomplish one major goal, and that is to repair, relax, and refresh, so that they feel better prepared to tackle life. Think of practicing self-care like charging a mobile phone. When your mobile phone battery power is low, you plug it into a charger. Practicing your self-care rituals is exactly the same. You're plugging into an energy source that helps you to repair your body after a long day, to relax your mind and refresh yourself so you are prepared to go back into the world anew. Without self-care, continually moving through life would feel incredibly overwhelming and difficult, if not impossible. Self-care gives you a chance to address your own needs in a world where you may feel constant demands of your time and energy from others. Moving through life without self-care isn't sustainable. And if you don't take the time to engage in self-care, you will struggle and you will hit a brick wall eventually. Self-care activities should leave you feeling better than you felt before you started them. This is important. The point of good self-care rituals is to refresh yourself and repair any stress or damage done to your physical, mental, emotional, or spiritual well-being during the day. However, if you choose negative activities masquerading under the guise of self-care, you'll cause more harm than good. To illustrate this point, consider common activities such as drinking alcohol or smoking cigarettes. Many people like to use cigarettes and alcohol as a release, as a way to manage their stress. At first, these may seem like good self-care options. When you're drinking or smoking, you may initially feel some release and relaxation. However, cigarettes and alcohol can lead to more harm than good. Smoking can lead to a whole host of medical concerns, and so can alcohol, with the added negative experiences of potential hangovers and other unpleasant consequences. These types of self-care activities aren't the right kinds of activities to engage in regularly for relief or release, because they leave you feeling worse than you did before you started them. Practicing self-care is important to staying healthy and happy, and it protects the health of your mind, body and spirit. Practicing self-care helps to reduce stress. Now, stress has been linked to several things, including mood and behaviour changes, sleep disturbances, weight gain, memory lapses, headaches and more. So don't let this happen to you. Practicing self-care helps you to feel better. Self-care has a ripple effect on our health and happiness. The healthier we are, the better we function and the more productive we can be. From taking care of our physical needs to feeding our souls, self-care is critical to living well and thriving. Practicing self-care helps us to connect with ourselves. Knowing our worth and how to love and care for ourselves is the very first step towards achieving anything in life. When we practice self-care, we are saying we are worth it. Practicing self-care helps us to remember our priorities. We may be tempted to skip self-care and prioritise others instead, but if we can focus on ourselves, even just for a little while every day, we will not only be better partners, friends, parents and co-workers, but we will also be better able to do our job. Practicing self-care helps us to better care for others. No one is at their best when they're running on empty. Self-care lets you replenish your energy and manage your stress so that you can care for others more fully. Practicing self-care helps us to enjoy life more. When you feel better physically, mentally, emotionally and spiritually, you have inner peace and calm of spirit, and you will enjoy your life more. As the only one responsible for your well-being, it's important to spend a little time every day tending to your needs. No two approaches to self-care activities and rituals are alike, and that's okay. An activity you really enjoy for self-care purposes may leave your best friend feeling bored. You may see your sibling engaging in a self-care activity that completely baffles you because you don't understand why they find it so relaxing. Regardless of the situation, they all illustrate an important point. It's important to find self-care activities that work best for you in order to reap the most benefits from practicing it. If you try to choose self-care activities and rituals that aren't truly delivering you the rest and relaxation that you need, they will be ineffective. You may even finish your self-care time feeling even more stressed out and unrested than you did before you started. The key word in the term self-care is self. So ignore what society thinks is supposed to be relaxing and refreshing, or what your friends are doing. Instead, allow yourself to gravitate towards self-care activities that actually interest you and work best for your specific needs for the absolute best results. Now, many people find themselves saddled with so many responsibilities, concerns, obligations, tasks and errands that the idea of practicing self-care on a regular basis seems very unrealistic. I can't tell you how many times I've heard clients say, I haven't got time for me, I haven't got time for that, I can't find 15 minutes in a morning or an evening to meditate. Instead of making time to take care of themselves, they feel like they absolutely must funnel all their time and energy into taking care of whatever demands they're facing during the day. Unfortunately, the determination to continue powering through a set of obligations, responsibilities, tasks, or whatever else life brings is unsustainable. Over time, without proper rest and self-care time, you will not be able to maintain this constant, never-ending on-the-go lifestyle. This is why self-care practices and activities should be made into habits and routines. Just as you have habits such as brushing your teeth or packing your bag for work, you should have habits revolving around spending time on self-care. Make room in your schedule for self-care the same way that you'd make room for going to the supermarket or cleaning the house. It's just as important as any of these basic life tasks and really does deserve your attention. The essence of self-care is to take care of yourself physically, mentally, emotionally and spiritually. So if you're interested in becoming healthier, calmer, more centered and less anxious, there are 5 areas of self-care that you just cannot ignore. Physical self-care is all about taking care of your body. So examples of physical self-care could include getting proper good quality sleep, regular exercise, avoiding the use of tobacco, limiting alcohol consumption, managing stress, eating a balanced diet, and having regular health checkups. Mental and emotional self-care or psychological self-care is usually the first thing people associate self-care with because it keeps your mind and emotional state in good health. One of the most common activities here is the use of positive affirmations and learning how to redirect negative self-talk. Other activities include solving puzzles, connecting with people, doing something you enjoy like a particular hobby, being mindful, practicing self-compassion, setting boundaries, and saying no when you need to take care of yourself, forgiving yourself, and setting goals and priorities. Spiritual self-care is all about taking care of your soul. It involves doing the things that nurture your spirit and feed your soul to promote inner peace, calm, and serenity. Examples of spiritual self-care include meditation, communing with nature, thinking positive thoughts, disconnecting from devices on a regular basis, having regular moments of silence, practicing gratitude, and avoiding the news. Self-care that makes you feel better on various levels and in areas of your life that relates to your personal happiness and fulfillment include things like perfecting work skills, learning new skills, introspection, personal growth and development. A large chunk of taking care of yourself relies on the relationship you have with others. Whether it's family, friends, or colleagues at work, they all have an impact on how you feel about yourself. This is known as social self-care, and it can include setting boundaries, connecting with loved ones, reviewing the health of your current relationships, and seeking out social groups and volunteering. Many people enjoy engaging in self-care that allows them to experience some alone time, and this is especially true for people who spend a lot of time with other people. For example, busy mums, employees who work with co-workers closely, students, caregivers, therapists. These are all examples of people who spend a lot of time and energy engaging with other people. Whether they're caring for them, helping them, or interacting with them in some other way, a lot of their time is tied around social interactions and communication, which can feel utterly draining and exhausting. This is why giving yourself permission to temporarily disconnect from others is really important. Being constantly on call for others' needs and requests is stressful, and giving yourself time to be alone while you engage in a self-care activity is a great opportunity to give yourself a break from feeling on edge and constantly alert. To further enhance this type of self-care time, switch off your mobile phone, avoid checking your social media platforms, and mute your email alerts and notifications. Give yourself the full enjoyment of your own company without any outside intrusions, distractions, or interruptions. An excellent way to get the most out of your self-care time is to set and enforce boundaries around it. For example, you may have friends and loved ones who don't fully understand why you need alone time, or why you don't want to go out to an event. Remember, self-care is highly personalised. They may enjoy constant company when you need some time to yourself to feel refreshed again. This is where setting and enforcing boundaries becomes really important. When you set a boundary, you explain to another person exactly what you need in regards to a specific part of your life. In the realm of self-care, you may explain to a loved one that you need some alone time to de-stress after a long day. Once you set this boundary by explaining it to them and communicating it clearly, enforce it by not allowing them to cross it. If they try to pressure you into giving in to whatever they want to do that impedes your self-care, just explain to them you are serious and stick to your boundary. As we've discussed, self-care is an important component of our overall health. When we get caught up in taking care of everyone else in our lives, it's easy to forget that we need some care too. We can't be everything to everyone all of the time. We need to take a break on occasion, a time to be ourselves, but to have some fun too. I'd like to share with you 5 self-soothing techniques that might help. Technique number 1 is to change your environment. When you're feeling overwhelmed and about ready to snap, it may be time to change the environment. It doesn't have to be a huge change. If you're inside, go into a different room. Get away from the trigger that's making you feel stressed. Consider going outside into nature and just spending a few minutes alone. Changing up your environment is the key to giving you something new to focus on and to take a breather. Technique number 2 is to stretch the body. Negative energy can get caught up in our bodies, making it hard to focus and feel good about ourselves. On those days when you feel tense and tired and find yourself snapping at everyone, but you don't have a lot of time for self-care, stretching can be a really good choice. Just a few minutes of stretching the body out can release the tension and makes you feel less stressed and anxious too. Technique number 3 is to take a warm bath or shower. Turn the heat up nice and high or to the temperature that you like and bring out the special bubbles or body wash. And use a fresh, soft, warm towel when you're done so that you can feel truly pampered and absolutely amazing. Technique number 4 is meditation. Just take a few minutes each day to meditate and see how it makes you feel better in no time. Meditation can help you focus on the present, letting go of the past and stopping some of your worry about the future all at the same time. 5 to 10 minutes is plenty to start off with, but think about scheduling a little bit more time on those tough days that cause you stress. And technique number 5 is journaling. Get all of those emotions out on paper and see how they tend to disappear in no time. Journaling is a great way to take out those emotions and to let all those thoughts out of your head. We can often get stuck in our heads, worrying about what will happen or thinking about what went wrong during the day. Writing out this information will give us a chance to let go of it all and focus more on the present. And many people just find journaling relaxing and soothing in itself. As adults, we need to take the time to work on self-soothing behaviours as some of our self-care routines. We have a million things to get done during the day, which makes it easy for us to forget about taking care of ourselves. By trying some of these self-soothing techniques, you can work more on your self-care and see the best results in the process. If you take one thing away from today's episode, I'd like it to be that you recognise how important self-care is for everybody and that it is the key to protecting the health of our bodies, minds and spirits. Now go take care of yourself. I'm off to do the same. Thanks for listening to this week's episode. I hope you found the discussion and the tips covered really helpful. Don't forget to subscribe, and if you enjoyed this episode, please do leave a rating and a review and share it with your friends and family. Pop along to our website at thefullspectrumcentrelimited.com and join our self-care and wellness newsletter club. you'll receive our free 55-page printable self-care guide and workbook. Well, that's all for this episode, but I really look forward to seeing you next week. Take care and bye for now.